morning, beautiful souls. What a spectacular day. This message is going to be probably fairly long and maybe a little different. And I'm just saying that I'm excited. Because that's how I woke up, excited. Why? Because the universe is excited. Because spirit is excited. And excitation means creation. Physically speaking, in scientific terms, chemical terms, means transformation, transmutation. The electrons are bouncing around and things are moving. And I could hardly wait to start this video. There's the blue jay. Blue jays are, like all birds, messengers of spirit. All creation is a message of spirit. He's gonna come share how excited he is right here, and he's calling to his mate. Blue jays mate for life. They live in fluid flocks. Oh, he's come right to the balcony. He wants you to know that spirit is excited. And I want to let him speak for a moment. Okay. Blue jays are messengers of spirit. All birds are, all creation is, but birds especially. Their brains are designed in a different way, intentionally, and their receptivity is much stronger. They have no problem picking up things telepathically, as we would describe, which is just energy moving through the field. It's exactly the same as transmitting an image in a wave, or the way your radio picks up a signal. It's precisely the same, and exactly the same way that quite detailed things can be transmitted in this fashion. For example, your TV, whether or not it's got an old-fashioned cable connection or not, digital input output, all of that information that you see on the screen as you're streaming something, as you're watching a movie and getting sound and sight, and it's all flowing in a continuous stream, all of that is ones and zeros. All of that is just data that's essentially compressed into its purest form, a wave form, flowing through what we think of as the atmosphere. And it essentially is, but that is how transdimensional interpretation and transmission occurs. And a part of why I'm discussing this is because I'm here today to demonstrate that live action in the moment. I am channeling. I am what you might refer to as a channel. Everyone is. There's no being alive that is not a channel. In fact, the very livelihood of your being is the channeling of energy, of life energy through your body. There are different ways to do this, and the easiest way is to be an open channel, which is to step your consciousness, your personalized, individuated consciousness, step it back just a hair and allow some portion of the collective to come forward and speak directly through you. You're still interpreting, but it's more like they're using your words to interpret, in a sense. And right now what I'm doing is taking a more active role in this process. Again, that is not terribly unusual. There are many, many, many people who do this. Many people. However, not many of them do it with the intention of communicating this type of information, with explaining how it all works in the moment that it is working within. And I am told this is somewhat unprecedented. It's a lot of big words, is what I'm hearing. This is complex information. This is not just messages and advice and such things are frequently channeled through many other people. Esther Hicks is a beautiful example. She is a luminary and an open port of reception for this level of complex information. However, me being myself, I have a desire to not just interpret it as it flows out through me and be the channel for that message. I have a desire to understand it simultaneously. So there's more layers for it to go through right now because I am an active participant. And this is what I desire to demonstrate, this process, and what they desire for me to demonstrate. I'm not being forced to do this. I'm not being asked in some condescending way. This is not a task or a chore. It is because our desires are aligned that this is taking place, because it feels good to me, because I was so excited to do this, I could not do this. Because I don't deny myself that kind of joy. Who are they? Who are we? Because that is a question that's going to come up. And the answer ultimately is the collective, but it is a very broad spectrum. There are different layers of collective. And they flow fluidly, transiently, within and without one another as energies converge and diverge, as they have more or less alignment based on the purpose and desire each feels in that moment. There's still individuation. You see, you never lose the self that you know as yourself, even in higher levels of consciousness, even as you blend and merge with the unity. You're still yourself, necessarily. You are a facet. Every level up, it's just a continuation of that kaleidoscope. But this is a very broad level of collective. This is the all-inclusive collective, which is to say there are as many voices as are possible to fit currently in this space, and all of them singing together like a great choir, where each voice is a shade of the rainbow, not just a color, but a shade itself. Excuse me. And it is a challenge to transmit, and the throat chakra must be kept lubricated. I'm hearing. Water is also important for receiving this kind of information because it is a form of energy. It is very similar to electricity, which is another etheric thing that we cannot physically touch. It's not tangible, but we experience it. We know it. We know it exists. So, okay. Returning to they, it is what you perhaps have known as the White Council or Brotherhood. White is the color of light. In the past, this has been misinterpreted by certain individuals as relating to skin. Ain't nobody got skin up there, honey. It's all etheric. And in fact, everyone can be any shade or color that they wish in that moment. The reason that it is white is because it is ultraviolet. It is the fullest of full spectrum. It is rainbow, essentially. It's the Rainbow Council, you could say, one and the same. It's just that when the rainbow is condensed, all aligned into one individual beam, it takes on the shade of pure silver white light with an ultraviolet sheath encapsulating it. So it is the all which contains the all, the everything which is so broad in spectrum and perception that it allows even the perception of nothing within it, for only then can everything be truly perceived. Yes, thank you. I have my breakfast with me this morning. It's not soup. You could call it soup. Call it chocolate soup. What else? Synchronicities. Yes. This is something that people will be noticing more and more, that you will be noticing more and more. And viewer, if you were watching this video, I wish to commend you. The whole of existence commends you. It does not matter if this information is perceived and comprehended fully at the 3D level. That is not relevant. The fact that you are here listening means that your soul is paying attention and you are absorbing this information intuitively, the same way that a beam of light hits you and you may not feel it, perceive it, but still that light is permeating through your body, through your cells. Literally, your cells are learning and growing and expanding from this, because these two are a further extension of your consciousness. So, synchronicities. These will become more prevalent and prescient to everyone in the world as it continues to awaken and expand in consciousness and perception. And the number one synchronicity is numbers. The number one especially is a forward motion, is new beginning. Why numbers? Because numbers are excuse me. Numbers are powerful. Grease the wheel, they're saying. It's going to be turning a lot here. Numbers are in effect the self-expression of the universe itself. They are the fabric of the universe as expressed in physicality. This is something that Nikola Tesla understood. And every number contains a vibration. Every single number has a vibration, which necessarily includes a color, a sound, a sensation, a texture. It is multifaceted in itself. The number one is hard in texture. It is firm. It's a dark navy blue with an outline that can be white or black. I see black mostly. It has a light behind it to kind of spotlight it as this forward. It's a forward motion, it's a push, it's penetrative, it's a beginning, and it's desirous of more, it's exploratory. We're going to stop with one and not get into all of the numbers today, but you will begin noticing more and more certain sequences of numbers. And it's not important, again, to consciously understand what this means. When you recognize them, that information is transmitted to you at the superconscious level. It's above consciousness, not below. It may seem as if it's below because it is not conscious, but it is not unconscious. It is merely above the current level of consciousness in that moment, which again is not relevant, not important. You receive the information nonetheless, and it is interpreted by you in an aware state at the precise time that that is necessary and available and correct for you, divine timing. But it is worthwhile to pay attention to the numbers that seem to follow you around. And many, many more people are noticing this. 1111 is one of the first. 1234 is another one. 111. These are all syncs that will become more prevalent for individuals who have never paid attention to such things. Suddenly they'll begin seeing these numbers and gain a curiosity about them, because the soul knows intuitively this is a direct message. This is a direct stream of consciousness to consciousness, connecting. And it is very much like a whiteboard. What is it? Reality. In particular, the screens upon which numbers are perceived and measured. A whiteboard, because imagine you have different colored markers and each number is written in a different color. And when you have a sequence of numbers, those colors and vibrations bleed onto one another and merge together into something new, into a nuanced, complex message that is far more than just the message of 1, the message of 3. It is 1317. It is 1726. It is a combination of these things, which, beautifully condensed into just a numerical format, carries with it a profound and intricate discussion. Exactly the same way that a video transmission does. This is why words are fairly clunky, and why in higher dimensions, the fourth and above, things are transmitted via what the Greeks called ekphrasis, which is sort of, it's a beaming, it's a direct beaming of a complete understanding that is multisensory and multifaceted in itself. It is like receiving a movie, or projecting a movie, transmitting a movie, not projecting. Thank you. Shall we talk about the crystals, or shall we save that for another time? We'll save that for another time. But a brief note, much of this will be available in the near future, which is the present moment. Simply the present moment that hasn't yet filtered into this level of experience. But crystals will make sense of all of this for us. Pure unconditional love is the power source of the future. It's actually the power source of the past, the distant past, the past which we have relegated to myth and legend. The Atlanteans built crystal pyramids. This is what I will do. Many of them still exist on Earth. They've merely been inverted and hidden underground. And this is why mountains exist, I'm being told. Mountains with high contents of quartz, much like the ones very near to me, the Rocky Mountains, in which I have spent much of my life. They are themselves centers of power, vortexes of power, and access points to higher levels of dimension. Lower too, but that's really not relevant. The lower planes are actually collapsing upwards as the Earth is ascending. Those planes are being pulled up as well, so no worries. A brief note about why. It has to do with piezoelectricity. And we will, as humans, rediscover our capacity to interact with crystals in a conscious and deliberate way, to transmit energy in a complex form that involves light, but will allow interaction with higher dimensionality in a much more tangible way. And compressed comprehensively is my interpretation of that. So thank you. I'm being asked, which means I'm feeling called to switch over to the cards now. This was another thing I was excited about, because when I shuffled the cards last night, the bottom cards just perplexed me and had a funny feeling to them. And I almost wanted to pull another reading right on the spot, but I resisted. I resisted. Full disclosure, I did take a peek at the bottom three cards of the Rider-Waite deck, but I have not looked at the animal deck. So I'm very curious what the universe has to say about today. Oh, today, last point on numbers, 1-3. You have the vibration of 1, which we've described as forward motion, and the vibration of 3, which I see as a sort of royal purple with a silvery light surrounding it. And it is very mysterious and intuitively based. High priestess of sorts. It's also the card of the Empress, I believe. Empress or Emperor. I think it's the Empress. I'm feeling it's an influx of that energy. It is the putting of intuition into motion, into action. And the combination of those things, creating the number 4, the Emperor, is decisive and creative. It's just the step before actual manifestation. Number 5 is the number of physical incarnation, physical effect, material. But 4 is the necessary point directly before that, right before that. And curiously, if you add up the month as well as the date today, we get the number 6, which is the number of love, the card of the Lovers. It is a blending of 5 and 1. A desire to move forward with something in the physical plane is also the blending of 4 and 2, a union of balanced harmony of elements in the self, and 3 and 3, a blending of intuitive aspects, giving birth to something. That is beautiful. Okay. Conflict. Conflict, the bottom card, before I move it. This is why I was so excited. The messages are becoming more intricate. I'm going to take a sip of my breakfast. It's peanut butter and milk and mud water, cocoa powder. They're saying to fuel up, so fuel up I shall. 5 of Wands, conflict. internal and external. But it doesn't have a bad feeling to it. It has a sort of righteousness to it. Let's see what's underneath. Putting an end to things, putting an end to conflict. Within and without. Again, directly underneath that is judgment. That's why that didn't feel, it felt righteous, right? This is a divinely guided, not battle so much as stance. Taking a stand for the self by ending conflict. Again, within and without. Judgment here is crossed by the Queen of Pentacles. Desire for stability, for nourishment, for self-love. And it's coming at a divine level, at a soul level, an intuitive level, one which will not be denied because it doesn't want to be denied, because it is self-serving in the highest form, the form that serves the good of all. And that is what the self desires. Directly beneath that, 6 of Wands, crossed by 10 Pentacles. Greener pastures. Reconciliation with the self, again, an ending to the conflict with the recognition that it is for a much, much higher purpose. It's for the purpose of growth for one and all. And it's not an ending without a light at the end of the tunnel. We're moving towards this rainbow that we know is stable, new ground. Queen of Pentacles and 10 of Pentacles. I mean, that's stable. And not slow moving, merely grounded. It's grounded. All of that is book-ended. Wow. 2 cards of collaboration, a celebration of new connections and teamwork. I wasn't going to even pull the next card, but bookended by 3 Cups and 3 Pentacles. I'm going to just read those together because that is, we're done. We're done with this energy. This was the soul being left out in the cold. The soul wants collaboration. It's creating endings in a compassionate way because it understands that this conflict is not serving anyone, especially not it. And if it isn't serving itself, if it isn't in these kinds of connections, it can't have the stability that it desires, deserves, and requires to complete the work that it wants to do here. Work being not work, but the great work, the expansion and escalation of all life on this planet, of all consciousness in this realm. That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. Why do I want to look at this top card? Because it's the Empress. It is 3. It is the number of 3. Thank you, Spirit. All of this being guided by an escalation of Empress energy within individual consciousness and the collective. Thank you, Spirit. That is beautiful. I'm supposed to switch it up today. All right. They're saying go straight to the Rider-Waite deck. Give this message first. Okay. Ending of conflicts. I guess, why are we ending these conflicts? Because it's kept us in 8 Swords energy, and we're keeping each other in 8 Swords energy, in effect. 8 Swords is not something you put somebody in. It's something they put themselves in. But we're realizing that the way we connect to each other is only encouraging this kind of mindset. It's not conducive to actual progress. Yeah, it's not conducive to actual progress. It's holding back the world from moving forward. Again, within and without, as above, so below. You hold the entire world within you. And when one is within 8 swords, it has an effect on the collective. The effect of negative energy on the collective is irrelevant when compared to the effect of positive energy. When one individual focuses with positivity upon themselves and then upon the externalized world, that alone transmutes and transcends countless, many hundreds, at least 100,000 I'm hearing, between 1 and 200,000 individuals who are focused in a negative manner. The power of one. The power of one. This sandwiched by the Two of Swords. I'm smiling at the card underneath. You don't get to see it yet. Yeah, we are done with 8 of Swords, preventing the world from turning. You saw the card. It's Temperance. It's the angel. We're putting an end to conflict. We're putting an end to these things that have kept us in 8 swords in ourselves and each other, because we're learning to temper. We're learning to transmute. We're learning the necessity, the value, the beauty of even conflict itself, how it can be used not to hold us back, but to propel us forward into growth, new growth and expansion. Propel us forward into speaking our truths, encouraging us to speak our truths. Yes, thank you. See how the water is flowing between cups here? That's what we're being encouraged to do. Pour into ourselves, pour into one another, flow that emotion, let it move, let it flow. This followed by Knight of Swords crossed by the Fool. A new desire to speak truth, to create new beginnings based on truth, to be brave. I'm feeling. This is feeling very brave. The Strength card isn't here, but I feel strength from the Fool. This is a powerful new beginning, desire for new beginnings, individually and again at the collective level. And all of that bookended by the Emperor himself. We saw the Empress already. They're coming out. They're coming out to say, hey, yep, we're balancing. We're doing this. Because, okay, one thing at a time so I can interpret this. Please, thank you. It's just collective energy. It's the entire universe aligning, and it's excited. It's excited about the changes that are taking place. The Emperor is taking himself out of 8 swords. That's what this is. The Emperor does have the capacity to hang around in this energy. He can get in his head a lot. So can the Empress, but she's more in her emotions. She gets in 8 swords over her feelings. The Emperor gets in 8 swords over strategizing. What is the next move? What is the appropriate move? What is going to have the best outcome? That kind of thing. That's where the Emperor can get stuck in this type of conflict. But the Emperor is just as ready for this new beginning. Right underneath him is the Hermit. The Emperor has done some deep soul work, which is not necessarily the Emperor's forte, and that is to be recognized and commended. Truly. Truly. 5 Wands again. There's been conflict. This is internal conflict. This is what the Emperor experiences. This is what puts the Emperor in 8 Swords, is this type of soul searching that is not comfortable. But he's gone through it because he's got a new passion, new desire, an actual desire to do this level of self-transformation and exploration, because he doesn't want to fight people off anymore. He wants sanctuary, and he knows that it exists. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna stick with this one for now. I mean, I think that's a pretty complete message in and of itself, but Divine Masculines, okay. The Emperor represents the Divine Masculine. There is masculine and feminine within each and every one of us, and all of it, every bit of it is divine. But you are considered a Divine Masculine if this is a core function of your soul's purpose and path, is to take this journey. Because you are healing collective trauma. It's not just your own. This is generational trauma and karma, Divine Masculine, that you are shouldering the burden of yourself. And that's why this is so hard. And that's why you are truly heroic for doing this. The work you are doing for the earth right now, the value of it cannot be understated. All of this conflict that you've been through is ascending the earth in a tremendous fashion. You are the one. You are the power of one, which is transmuting the pain of the many. You and the Empress both, but the Empress can't do the work that you're doing. You both have a specific role of what to transmute. And you're doing it. I mean, you're doing it. You've worked really hard at this. You've worked really hard at this. This has been a struggle. This has been a battle. It's been a conflict. We're going to pull 3 of these and clarify with the animal deck today. These cards stayed right together, didn't they? You're shutting out anything that is not conducive to your own healing and transformation at this time. Anything that's not conducive to the soul work. The Hermit is awake. The Hermit knows what's going on. I mean, Hermit with the Hanged Man underneath kind of says it all. Hey, buddy, can you not walk across the cards just today? I love you. He's the Divine Masculine, so he's feeling all of this. He's just coming to give you some support. And again, the Empress appearing again at the bottom of this. She was at the top last time. Now she's at the bottom. She is assisting with all of this. You have her full support, Divine Masculines, as a Divine Feminine who is doing this work, who agreed many lifetimes ago to come and do this at this time. I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening to yourself. Thank you for choosing happiness. Thank you for allowing, with your own free will, to enter into this conflict because you desire a new beginning, because you're brave enough for that. Thank you. I want to shuffle one more time. Judgment at the bottom of the deck. You are divinely guided and protected at this time. The work you are doing is protected. It's seen on every level of existence. Okay, it's recognized. It is recognized. You are a member of Metatron's Legion. And you are highly ranked, highly ordained, and highly respected by all of creation. One more shuffle. Why Five of Wands? Tell us about this conflict that the Divine Masculines are experiencing at this time. Tell us about this conflict. Why did that card not want to go in? It's a conflict because it's a recognition of short-sighted decision-making in the past. No, that's just an extra message. Okay. Yeah. Conflict because there's a realization that short-sighted decisions have not really been fruitful. They haven't really led to anything productive, to consistent growth, to stable growth. Why the Six of Pentacles? There's a desire to give. We want it to be in the full light of sun. We want to grow these fruitful plants out in the open. We don't want them to be hidden anymore. We want to give to things in full awareness and without shame, publicly. We don't want to fight people over the plants that we're trying to nourish and grow. We just want to put them out there. We're just going to let them grow in the sun where they deserve to be, where they belong, and encourage other people to do the same, that they don't need to fight. They don't need to feel like they're being attacked. There's a two-sidedness to this stubbornness. But it's ultimately positive. Yeah, it's ultimately positive because it has to do with love. We're getting stubborn about love, about true love, about wanting to love ourselves and each other, and to give to that love in a way that is not hidden or contained. It's not afraid. Got a jumper. Why is the Two of Swords here? Why is the Two of Swords here? We'll look at this one first. The Wheel of Fortune. We don't want anything that isn't ours. There's a realization that if we have to fight for something, we have to convince somebody of something, then that thing is not for us. There's something better. There's something much, much better that is divinely provided. That's out in the open, freely given, freely able to be. It's excited. He's excited. There's a forward motion. I mean, Wheel of Fortune, that's some big time forward motion. Why is the Wheel of Fortune here? We want to give the full cup of love. We want to put that into motion. That's what we want to grow out in the open, is real, true love that's not ashamed, because true love is not ashamed. It's not afraid. It's unmitigated. It's unbridled. It flows freely as the divine life water does. And we are determined. We're determined to do that because that is the desire. We're not going to let anything else hold us back because there's a recognition that this conflict has served its purpose. It served the purpose of planting these new, fresh seeds, and now the seeds don't need to be surrounded by conflict. They're good. We want to grow them in the sun. We're going to grow them in the sun. We're going to protect those seeds, not in fear, in faith, in confidence, in trusting the intuition that this is a love that is divinely guided. Judgment again at the bottom of the deck. Divinely guided. Okay. Why is the Hermit here? Why is the Hermit here? Sure, because it's time. Because the hermit can only stay the hermit for so long. He's got to come out sometime. All of that knowledge isn't going to benefit anybody when he's just keeping it to himself. It's time for the hermit to come out and share, to partake in the cup of love. Why is the hermit here? Yeah. He's made a choice. He sees which cups are not so good and which cups are good, and he knows which one he wants. It's the one that's facing the sun. It's the one that seemed like the one that wasn't real. And he's realized that's the one that is real. That one is the cup of love. And all he had to do was shift some perspective, and it's taken some time. Divine masculines, this has taken tremendous introspection and wrestling with the self. Yeah. But you've been stubborn about this. You have refused to give up on this, and that is testament to the strength of your spirit. Truly. Hey, can you not, please? If you're gonna sit here. Why is the Seven of Cups here? Why is the Seven of Cups here? Is it that one? It's that one. Ah, yep. Because we want nourishment. Because the hermit wants to come out of hermit mode, out of being alone, and wants a stable, loving connection, loving relationship. He's found that in himself. Divine masculines, you're finding that in yourself. Again, you have my thanks and my absolute endless respect and admiration. This is not easy. This is not easy. This is not an easy thing that your soul agreed to do. But you agreed because you knew you could do it. Because you knew you were ready. You're ready to build something new. You're ready for justice to be on your side. You know that it is. You know the universe is on your side. In this new building, this new beginning, this new offering of love that you desire, the universe is backing you up. And you know it. That's why you're putting an end. That's why you are doing all of this. That's why you've been through all of this conflict. Because you're trusting that the universe is behind you on this. And it is. It is wholly supporting you. It is. Take this leap, says the universe. Take this leap, put an end to this heartache, put an end to the stingy misconceptions of love, to the hollow misconceptions of love. Those don't exist. This is the real deal. Great blue heron. That's really beautiful. I'm feeling like that's the message. Any parting words from the universe? Really, really beautiful and really exciting. Really exciting. Divine masculines, you should be so proud of yourself. Yourselves, yourself. I am. I could feel it. I woke up so excited. It was like Christmas morning. I couldn't wait to see what what gift the universe had. Just unwrap it and enjoy it, because you deserve to. That's you. Balanced Emperor. Parting messages from the universe. Hanged Man. Justice. King of Wands. And I mean the Emperor underneath. The Emperor is getting justice. This is a multifaceted card in this aspect, because in some sense it's justice over the King of Wands. The King of Wands is, in certain perceptions, the unbalanced ego. Okay, he's focused on outward appearance, on how he appears to others, on being popular, being received a certain way, being perceived as successful. But the Emperor is getting justice over that, because there's a realization that that is not helpful. That's what's keeping him in eight swords, is this obsession, this focus on how he's received by others, on others' expectations, on others' desires and opinions of him. That doesn't benefit the Emperor. The Emperor wants truth. The Emperor is gonna tell truth, because he wants this new beginning, because he knows it's divinely guided, and because it leads to the world. That is your justice. You've done the work. You've had the revelations. You're getting justice over this mindset, over the unbalanced ego. Justice over that. And you have the world crossed by the Ace of Wands. A new beginning. Passionate new beginning. Divinely given to you. Handed to you, Emperor. Oop, you're jumping out of my hands. You're excited. That's really beautiful. This is your justice. This is your justice. We've had justice twice. We've had temperance twice. We've had the Emperor and the Empress countless times here. We've had the Fool twice. And the Fool every time has been backed up by angelic power. This is, I mean, the universe is proud. The universe is beaming at you right now. And so am I. That's your reading. Thank you for listening to yourself, not to me. I appreciate that too, deeply. Deeply, I do. But you never needed to listen to me. Only you. That's what all this has been for. Thank you. The world is a better place for it. And you deserve every wonderful thing that's coming. I love you. Have a beautiful day.